The House of Representatives has expressed its determination to strengthen the National Emergency Management Agency towards living up to expectation of its establishment acts, particularly in the area of prompt and proactive response to disaster emergencies and distress calls in the country. Today on Let's Discuss program, we shall take a look at that topic, that issue. I am Adibari Ijmakle, welcoming you to today's edition of the program, which also promises to be revealing and educative. I'm not alone on the program. My co-anchor is here with me, Oluchi.
Thank you very much, Ejimaki. Yes, you're welcome to today's edition of Let's Discuss. And as you rightly put it, we'll be looking at emergency situations and emergency response in Nigeria. Yes, we've had a lot of issues, flood, fire incidences, natural disasters and all that. Recently in Ibadan, we also had explosions, and it led to a lot of casualties. In Osun State here, we had fire incidents too. So we have a guest in the house today, someone eminently qualified to lead discussion on today's topic, and he is the General Manager of Osun State Emergency Management Agency, Mr. Babajide Falade. You're welcome to the program.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning, viewers at home. Yeah.
Now, whenever there are human activities, there are bound to be incidences of all kind. Now, when we talk about emergency response, what exactly does it mean?
Let me start by saying that emergency management is a collective responsibility. We are all supposed to be involved. And like I said, it is the paramount duty of the State Emergency Management Agency to make quick response. It is the duty of the communities to report incidences very quickly, promptly, so that we can take actions. And like I said, we have other agencies that are attached to us that are responsible to management of disasters. We have the police, we have the Red Cross, we have, we have the security agencies, we have the hospital management board, and we have the fire brigade, and a host of them like that. And sometimes we involve NEMA. When it is too elaborate, NEMA is involved. Whether it's elaborate or not, sometimes we need to write to NEMA to inform them about the development in the state. And like I said, the community too, the participants in response, they must, one, quickly tell us what is happening so that we can come promptly. And apart from that, and I think, like I said, it is even better sometimes to prevent disasters from happening. That is where the community is highly responsible, and they must be charged to take up that responsibility.
All right. What does state of emergency connotes? When can an incident can be declared as a state of emergency, and who declared the state of emergency?
Yeah, that will bring me to types of emergency anyway.
Okay.
So you have fire incidences, you have storm, you have flooding, you have others like carelessness, like felling of inflammable tankers and what have you. And we declare emergencies. You see, emergencies, they are in degrees. You see, they can be massive and sometimes they can be minor. Okay. As minor as it is, it could be, let me put it that way, the State Emergency Management Agency still has responsibility. Like, for example, if somebody decides to commit suicide and throw himself inside the well, you see, if you call us, there are people that we need to call immediately to go and take care of such incidents. If somebody decides, that's an emergency too.
Yes.
You may think it is minor because it involves just an individual. Because many times people will take negligence on some issues. They think it is they are minor. Like, for example, somebody that decides to jump into the river. There was a case of a woman that decided to jump into Osun River the other day. Thank God for the wife of Mr. Governor that was around and was able to bring the woman out. So these are emergencies that, but at times they can be very massive. They can be very massive. And that's why I keep telling people, when you see something, you say something. You see, like, for example, the one that happened at Ibadan. well, after the incidents, Nigerians were so funny. It is after something might have happened that have now start sharing ideas. Some will be telling lies, some will be telling you the truth, and if you are not careful, you won't be able to know even what is the truth. So, when I went to that Ibadan too. You may say it's not Osun State, but it's still within Western State, Western region. So I need to go there. I was there, and some of us too were there. The NEMA was there. OSEMA, that's from Lagos and Ekiti State. We were all there, at least to share experiences and to assist in ameliorating the problem. So when you are now looking at disaster, I don't think disaster, you cannot say one is minor, one is massive. It depends on how it affects you. We just share a story now of a tanker trailer loaded with a fuel that fell and caused damages to lives and property. So we really need to be very careful and not say one is minor, one is. So even though they may be of different degrees, but our response is only very essential.
Okay. Now, the primary school definition of accidents is an unforeseen cause. Yeah. Now, if emergency situations are not something you expect, something that just happened, how do you prepare for them?
We are always on our toes. That's the work we are being paid for.
No, apart from NEMA now, how should the public too?
That's why I'm coming. That's why I'm coming. So the public too, like I told you, they have responsibilities. You see, somebody will just come and meet you and ask you to come and buy a plot of land very close to river bank. You go there because it is cheap. They want to dispose the land very quickly. You go there, you buy. You should be expecting flood one day. Somebody that is fond of throwing refuse into waterways is a way of preparing for flooding one day. Somebody that is fond, during the dry season, we have disasters, peculiar disasters for seasons. Like during the dry season, we have a peculiar disaster. Fire incidents is always very common during the dry season. When it is during the rainy season, you have storms. Storm is not man-made; it is natural. So, and that brings me to the saying that you have natural and artificial disasters. So the natural ones could be caused by thunderstorm, could be caused by, you cannot prepare for that one. You cannot say you want to prepare for storm. Okay. Because you don't know when it's going to occur. But the ones that we need to really guide against is the fire incidences. Like for example, if you are leaving your home, you make sure you have all the electrical appliances, you remove the plugs from their sockets, so that there won't be any problem. If there is any power surge, then there won't be any problem. But if you are too careless and you just see it as one of those things, you are going, you just leave all the lights there, leave the sockets where they are, and you leave for work, that's man-made. When there's power surge, you are inflicting that problem on yourself by yourself. It may be through carelessness or through ignorance. So, but and that's one. Two, then, like I said, when you say something, you say something. Like the Ibadan case. One woman said they were neighbor to the person that the explosion occurred in this compound, and that person we learned that is an illegal miner, and he has been bringing explosives to the home. And sometimes the explosive, maybe they are wet or something, they will put them at the compound in the sun. They tell you they are drying them up, and you have been seeing all these explosives all this while. Why didn't you speak out? Why didn't you tell people? Because you are living with disaster. Someday there could be any mistake, and that explosive will come to life, and that's exactly what happened. So when you see such things, what in my own opinion, I think there are people that you need to report to. Like for example, you may not even report straight to the police. You can report straight to your community chairman leader, telling the chairman that you are observing so. There are steps they should take. If those ones they are not responsive enough, you can report to security agents. Not one. We have a lot of them now. You have the Western Nigerian security agents. You have the NSCDC. You have the Nigerian police. You have a lot of them around that you can report to. You even have immigration that you can say, because I later heard that those people that harbored those explosives, they are foreigners. You can report them to immigration, so that something quick might have been done, and before all these incidents happen. If you get to the site of that problem, in fact, if you are not careful, you will weep. because I saw a house that was brought to Robust. You will not even know there is a house existed in that place. So what are we talking? So it is carelessness on our part. You see, there was a day I was going through. I wanted to buy something along Otaoluka there, and I saw that people have turned their drainages into refuse dump. They pack a lot of refuse there, and little time they will now be shouting at government. And I want to tell you something. This governor that we have is very passionate about the welfare of our people. He's always there. Say something, he will quickly respond. He will send us to the field, go and work, go and do this. What he wants is result. You see, and like yesterday, we still went to Ife. But you see, we are saying something just now. People need to be conscious of so many things. How can you, because you want to do a business in an enclosure, a residential enclosure, you now go there, you now establish a gas business there. You put a lot of cylinders around that place. So look at what happened at Ife now. The man has a petrol station. I will not want to mention the name of the petrol station now. And in between that petrol station and the resident behind it, he now located a gas plant there. And unfortunately, when they even locate such things, they will put experts that can manage the business well. So we heard that there was a leakage. Instead of the attendant to now work on the leakage before the thing became explosive, she didn't do anything. She was just running a tasketa and started shouting. It has started, oh, that thing is leaking, and that was it. And the thing caught fire. Look at the damages that were done there. If you get to the place, you will pity us, human being generally, that we are too careless and too ignorant of a lot of things.
I think talking about this issue of illegally citing of businesses that are very, very risky, like gas stations, petrol stations, in between residential houses. Now, your agency, do you have any collaboration with other agencies that are in charge of actually allowing people, giving people permits to cite such businesses? Do you have any collaboration with them?
Well, I will not say we have, by implication, we should.
Okay.
You get it? We should. But it's very unfortunate that when they are going for approval of such things, we are not involved. And I want us to just know that this is not the time to shift blames.
Okay.
You see, this time for us to really wake up to our responsibilities.
Yes, then isn't trying to fashion out a way of collaborating part of, waking up to responsibility, because
that's what I'm talking about.
Right.
Like the incident that I visited yesterday prompted me to now say we want to write to all those people that when they want to do when they want to give approval for especially flammable business centers, you get it, they should involve us so that we at least we share our own little ideas. We show them incidences that have happened that will prevent them from putting or not putting that thing there. You see, and I think common sense should even tell us that when you cite a petrol station in a residential area, it's a very high risk. And when you are putting gas, you may think it's domestic gas. There was this man that kept a domestic tank, the domestic cylinder in the car, and there was an explosion. The cylinder tore the car to shreds.
Wow.
That's the extent it could go. I want to tell you, even in my home, there was a time that we are using all these 4-burner something, this standing gas, cooking gas or something. So when the first day I got there, we traveled, we came back, I discovered that probably ignorantly or carelessly, the stove was on. So the whole building was filled with gas. I warned them. We stayed out there. We couldn't go in. We stayed outside until everything got calmed. And at the end of the day, when it repeated itself, when they repeated the same thing thrice, I decided to throw away the gas and started using stove. So that's a way of preventing disaster from happening to you. And there are some frank decisions that you need to take. So, like you said, I'm now coming back to those agencies. We are going to incorporate them into our catalog, so that we now be able to at least judge and synergize on location of facilities like that.
All right, thank you. How is Nigeria faring in terms of emergency management? Is the country living up to expectations, especially compared to international practice? What are the challenges?
I think this will make me to let you know that we are not doing it alone. We have NEMA, National Emergency Management Agency. We have State Emergency Management Agency. Then we have Local Emergency Management Agency. So I will not say we are doing fine. You see, what we need now is for people, like this program we are doing is an awareness program. That people will know that we are existing and that we have responsibilities to them. So many times we need information from people. You need to inform us that this thing is happening. And like I told you, you can see our response to the issue at Ibadan. Virtually all of us in the Southwest were there. LEMA was there. OSEMA was there. Osun State Emergency Management Agency. I was there too with my team. Ekiti was there. And a lot of people were there too to rescue the situation. So I think we are not doing badly. We are not doing badly at all. But at the same time, we still need to do more. Doing more in the sense of in area of prevention, that we need to move around. Sometimes we need to sensitize people. Like this morning I just woke up and I felt, well, I think it is time we do a workshop for these petrol people, these gas people, so that they will be aware of what is happening and what they can do to stop anything from happening. So that is it. That's why we have.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Now, apart from providing relief for people or rescuing victims during emergencies, what else does your agency do?
When there are incidences, you go there for verification.
Okay.
Is it true that just to know the magnitude of the problem, you do an assessment? After doing the assessment, we come back, we make recommendations to Mr. Governor, and now it is now left. We advise Mr. Governor what to do. And like I told you, Mr. Governor is doing a lot in that area. Like for example, we just proposed that you need to buy some items, some relief materials for people. I think it has been approved. Okay. Very soon that will come to life. And I want to assure you that, I want to tell you again that last year there were materials that were distributed to people. NEMA themselves came. They came for assessment of, sometimes in May, they did the assessment, then they distributed slips, and in the end they now came, they now distributed various items. They distributed the food material, food items, non-food items, agric inputs, and a host of other things were distributed to people. So we are on it too. Okay,
now why I actually asked this question is because there are always these allegations from some victims that have reported incidents to you that it's more or less takes like forever for a relief to get to them. So how soon is your response? And if someone has experienced, let's say for example, a fire incident and his property or business is completely burnt down, how long will it take for you to just give the person something to relieve him or her temporarily?
It's a bureaucratic process. It's not something that just jump and say, this thing has happened, let me go to my house and bring some relief materials to this person.
Okay.
Sometimes, like I told you, I told you just now, that it's something in the pipeline for people. So we usually have relief items, but we want to change that idea that it is not when incidents occur that we have relief items. We want to start keeping relief items in our stores, right, so that when incidences happen, we now take from those relief materials to give them, at least to put succor on their face for that period, so that if anything will come up later through the bureaucratic process, it will still come. And I want us to know that I am not saying that it is compulsory for government to give you money.
Okay.
It's not compulsory for government to give you money, because many people, they think government will give us money, people will be asking for money, come and give us 10 million, 20 million. Sometimes I just laugh. And then I still want us to know that we don't give money when it is shall I say man-made, when it is crisis.
Or like out of carelessness.
Out of carelessness. Okay. If two communities are fighting now on a particular thing and you start destroying your properties, government will not be responsible to that.
Okay.
But when it is a natural disaster, or when it is natural disaster, sometimes it could be artificial too. When it is, and we do give, sometimes Mr. Government do approve some money.
Okay.
And it is very funny, when such money is being approved, it is being paid by another agency, not us.
Okay, which agency is responsible for the payment? It
is the Accountant General Office that will pay you directly.
Oh,
we have made our recommendation. If the thing is approved, it will have gone through all the processes, to have passed through them. It will now be the responsibility of that place. When there is availability of fund, they will now pay you. But I want to tell you that Mr. Governor has approved a lot, even this year.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Can we still have more of the interventions of the state government in bringing succor to the affected victims in the state?
Yeah, like I told you just now, one, it's not even about succor alone. We are trying a lot on prevention so that it will not occur. And when it occurs, the state government is, we, like I told you, we are just written a memo on purchasing of various items that we can distribute to people. Okay. And apart from that, we have distributed in the past. We keep distributing. We have distributed, we keep distributing, and we are planning now to now start keeping items in the store so that when incidents happen, we'll be able to now give them at least as first instance, then later we now add some other things when they are available.
Okay. Has any measure been taken against flooding?
Flooding, yeah. Like I told you now, it's about, I went around the other day, like I told you, and I saw people using their waterways as a refuse dump, and I told them to pack those refuse. And then some of them thought it was a joke until I told them I'll get them arrested if you don't do that. You see, there are ways that people, don't let me use misbehavior now, don't let me use the misbehavior. You know, they do things carelessly or carefree, too carefree attitude. So the major thing that we do in that instance is just to educate them. Let them know why some things should not be done. Like people that we want to buy a piece of land, you go and buy a piece of land on a river bank. Like people, there was this place that was the day we were coming from the office, and we saw a place that was submerged in Osun River. So we needed to go there. And the man said he didn't know that when he bought the land, it was during the dry season. I bought the land. So there are a lot of precautions that need to be taken so that in future, if you buy a land beside the river bank, you should expect flood in future. Like I said, if you are too careless with your electrical appliances, you should expect something disastrous in future. So that is why we need to, in our whole hand, we keep sensitizing, and we still keep sensitizing people, educate them on why certain things must not be done.
All right. Thank you very much. Let me ask this. Earlier you mentioned the fact that there are some disasters that happens during the rainy season. There are some that happens on the dry season. We are in the dry season now, and what are some of the things that are so rampant, some of the incidences that are so rampant at this particular time, and how can people actually guide against them?
Yeah, I think I said something about that. You see, there are abuses. I told you there are abuses when people want to locate inflammable business centers like gas stations, like petrol stations. I think it is time we start talking to people that are responsible not to approve of those things in residential areas any longer. That is one. Two, like I said, there are domestic carelessness too. Okay. You see, domestic carelessness is about putting on your light all the time. I mean, when you are leaving for work, make sure you off your light. When there's no use for it, unplug those things. When you are leaving the office, unplug all the appliances, the electrical appliances, make them they are off. Not minding whether there was light when you are going or there is. You get it? if there is light or there is not, you get it. Make sure when you are leaving that premises, you remove those sockets. Make sure when you are leaving that, the plugs rather, when you are leaving that place, make sure you off all the electrical appliances there. That's one. Two, domestic. Don't be too careless with your gas. You know, we are in the era of using gas. Everybody now use gas. You get it. So when you now use gas, you should know it is very inflammable, and you should not be careless with the usage. So you make sure the cylinder in particular, you put them off. Make sure you off the cylinder. Many people, especially the educated ones, the cylinder is answered yes, but they will leave it there open. The only thing they do is to lock the one inside. Supposing the wire removes and there is an explosion, what happens? And you do not be careless on where you locate those cylinders to put outside. Many times they put it where there is rays of sun getting to them. It will get hot and sometimes it just burst and explode. You get it? So all this stuff must be really taken care of. You know where you locate if you are putting your cylinder outside, know where you put it so that it will not be in the sun when you are not there. And apart from that, make sure you lock the knob when you are going out. It's not only locking it inside, you go outside and lock it. That's that. Then apart from that, all this bush hunting, you see, you should not be encouraged in residential areas.
Okay.
You see, all this bush hunting, they are hunting for rats and what have you. They will just ignite the bushes, and before you know it, it will get out of hand, and those people that are hunting would have run away. I think something like that happened at Ogoluwa the other day.
Okay.
That removed the roof of a particular house. Those people were hunting for rat, but at the end of the day, the house got burnt. So all these things, we need to guard against them. And apart from that, you see people smoking, smokers. They be traveling, you just smoke, they throw the stud of their cigarette, they throw it into the bush. What happens? It catches fire, and at the end of the day, it could be disastrous. So these are the things that we really need to guard against. And then, like I said, we must keep educating people on all these things so that at the end of the day, there will be prevention than management.
Okay. What collaboration do you have with other stakeholders in preventing disaster in the country? Do you have does your agency have the full complement of security agencies to be deployed during the emergency situation?
Yeah, like I told you, we work in synergy. We have the security agent, we have the Red Cross, we have the hospital management, you have even the Ministry of Health itself, you have NEMA, and you have the DSS too. You get it? See, we all work in collaboration to make sure, and we work with fire, the fire brigade people. They are always with us, so that when there are incidences of fire disaster, their prompt action is required, and all of us we move as a team to where the incident is happening, and we hold regular meetings to at least to educate ourselves of development and to review our actions on issues, so that if instances occur any other time, we now be able to take more prompt actions on those things.
All right. Yeah. Now, you talked about the fact that there are natural disasters that cannot be controlled, and there are man-made ones. Now, those natural disasters, such as rainstorm and all that, what role does tree planting play in actually limiting the extent of damage?
Yeah, it is just funny that when the policy comes to life, after a particular period of time, you just see the policy dying by itself. You see, because I could recollect that there was a time, especially during last time, that people were preaching plant a tree, at least in the front of your house also. So the tree thing is, when you have a tree in the front of your house or at the back of your house or anywhere, what the tree does is when there are storms, it will break down the storm.
Okay.
So it will break down the effect. So that storm will not be able to carry your roof. It will not be able to damage anything because the velocity would have been drastically reduced. Unlike when there's no tree there. Okay. So it is good when you plant trees. When you plant trees in your surrounding, so that it will keep storm disasters at their limit. So there won't be too much disaster when you plant trees. When the storm is coming, that tree will break down the velocity. The velocity will be low. It will not have that damaging effect on your structure.
Okay, so
can afforestation also help to a certain extent in the restoring the depletion of the ocean, the ozone layers that is causing climate change in the country?
You know, ozone layer is a result of so many things. It's about carbon emission and in-house heat, you know. And I want to tell you that there are a lot of things that have accumulated to climate change. Urbanization is one of them. You know, and naturally you have, when there's rain, you have runoff, you have the ones that are percolating, that are sinking into the soil, and you have evaporation. So if there is distortion in those three things that I've just told you, like for example, the moment you remove, there are trees here, the moment you remove those trees, the way we are removing trees now is very alarming. People use trees for so many things, for furniture making, for coal. There are a lot of deforestation out there. So the more we are deforesting, one, you now expect that when you are tarring your road, when you are building your house and you are concreting the floor, you are increasing the runoff. The runoff will now increase. Instead of the water to now sink into the soil, they will now be running the street. You get it? So there will be increase in runoff, and when there is increase in runoff, you should expect flood. Then the evaporation will decrease. You get it? Because ordinarily, water that could have sank into the soil and eventually been evaporated, we call it evapotranspiration. Evapotranspiration is that the soil will release its own vapor, the trees too will release their vapor. So if all those things, and the rate of emission now is very high, you know, we still use petrol, so there's carbon emission everywhere. You burn trees, you burn everything all over the places. They have changed the atmospheric temperature. So there's going to be a temperature inversion in that place. And when there's temperature inversion, and that is what we now call climate change. You get it? So when there's climate change, a lot of things they are associated with climate change. Like I just told you, there will be increase in runoff, there will be high temperature. What we feel these days is very abnormal to me. Well, I told you I'm a geographer too.
So it means the environment unfriendly.
Unfriendly.
And can cause all these natural disasters.
Of course, yes. Like for example, look at it now. You can just wake up and the harmattan will just be there, very striking. And before you know it, it has turned to very serious heat. You will think, well, it is very hot now. Before you know it again, it has started. The weather is just changing anyhow. You cannot really say this is what we're going to feel tomorrow. Like for example, in the past, you can say this is harmattan period, so you don't expect any heat. This is harmattan period, there cannot be rain. But now, I saw some patches of rain sometimes. So these are the things that we should be wary of.
Okay.
And then we should try as much as we can to at least to reduce all those actions that are causing all this stuff. And like sometimes I think the government, they distributed cylinders to people so that they want to encourage usage of gas so that they will reduce the carbon emission in the society. But yet people, they are adamant. You give them something, they go and sell. What do you want to say about that?
All right. Your emergency situation, so does it apply to emergency that comes as a result of hunger?
You are reminding me of Ekiti State.
Okay.
And they have, what do they call it again? This ministry that was established by the
Ministry of Stomach Infrastructure.
I want to say that indirectly, in Osun State, Mr. Governor is doing a lot about that.
Okay.
Just this yesterday, there was this summit on cooperative. Mr. Governor is fond of making sure, like I told you, that he's very passionate about the welfare of his people. He believes when you are okay, when you are well fed, when your business is running well, then, and that is why Osun State is very peaceful. It's one of the most peaceful states we have in Nigeria, if not the most peaceful. I want to tell you that, because I've had people that will tell you, that Osun, I want to come there. It's as if if you look at it, you can look at it generally, you know, and it is because of the action of our leaders And I want to tell you, this present Mr. Governor, in fact, is doing a lot in that area. There are occasions that the Minister of Empowerment will just come around with the program. There is a way he does it. I don't know. You just see people smiling to their homes. You know, they will have taken something. You get it? Like yesterday.
Programs that impact lives.
Yeah, they impact lives. Like yesterday, like I told you, there is a summit on cooperative. People came, they were educated on these cooperative things, and when we went for an assignment, we were at the program, we now left. When we were coming back, I just saw people smiling and laughing. I said, it has happened again. That's Mr. Governor for you. He can feel the pulse of his people and quickly respond to their needs.
All right. Yes, you were talking about the interventions of the state government.
Yeah, so the state government,
impacting lives of the people.
Yeah.
Okay. In many occasions, people have commended the state government for the relief materials they get, especially the affected victims after the emergency situations. But they are still keeping worried that why is it one-time payment or one-time settlement which they think or deem is not even adequate enough to bring back.
What I say about our people is this: our people can be very funny sometimes. Okay. You see, sometimes they hide the truth. You get it? I know people have been coming and they have been smiling home, but maybe because they don't want other people to benefit or something, when they get home they will now start squeezing faces. But Mr. Governor kept on doing or keeps on doing what he needs to do to bring succor to homes. That is very certain. And you can even see among workers too. Workers, you can see it. You cannot see any worker now that will be frowning his face. And if you look at it, because this is a civil service state, but this is mountain, before you know it, you just see alarm, I mean alert on your phone. And when you have alert on your phone and it is regular, you now be able to plan well. Now you go to the market, people in the market will take money. The money circulation is more reliable now. Let me put it that way. Because you can plan. You can say, I'm taking my salary by so. That was a day I was even thinking, this is 25 for, how am I going to do? I just had the alert. I said, Mr. Governor. And not just that. I think last month, he didn't only pay the salaries. He paid the 15,000 naira he said he's going to pay. And I want to tell you, Mr. Governor has a plan. He will pay your salary, he will pay the leave bonus, and he will also pay that 15,000 naira, which I think everybody will benefit from. It is because he pays regularly. That is why you can maintain your cars. That is why you can buy the gas. That's why you can cook stew at home. That's why you can do a lot of things. That's why you can pay your salary and you can pay your children's school fees. See, these are things that he has been doing. And apart from that, like I told you, we are planning now, and we have been doing it, and we keep doing it. Like I told you, just this last year, we even distributed sewing machine, we distributed water pumping machine, we distributed a lot of things, hardwares that you can use for business making, and a lot of other things that we were distributed. And like I said, sometimes if the case is too serious, Mr. Donald to give out money.
All right.
So that's just anything.
Okay.
That's great.
Yes, let me ask this now. More on emergency situations. Marketplaces are often very crowded, as usual. What are the likely incidents that can occur there in marketplaces, and what has your agency been doing in sensitizing the people, market people, to prevent such incidences?
We are very fortunate that we have groups, and there is need to always meet these groups, at least to educate them on prevention of disasters, and we need to educate them when disaster occur, the steps they're supposed to take. You get it? But that notwithstanding, there are occasions that they are incidental. I say accidental, sorry. Okay. That they are accidental. Like for example, the one that happened at Dodogbe in Ife. You see, it was a power surge. But because of the crowded situation there, and because of the market got bumped. We've been there, and we have worked on it. And before you know it, you start giving them relief materials. So what I'm saying in essence is this: we educate people. The basic thing that we do for prevention is education. And apart from education, if you are doing something, we come to your place, we tell you like you are using your this thing as a dump site, your drainages, we come there, we tell you don't do this. If you refuse, we call the necessary agency to come and tackle that problem there.
Okay.
You get it? And that has been going on. And apart from that, we educate, we sensitize, we come regularly, we come on visits. Sometimes we just take, and my team, we just go out at least to feel the pulse of the people. And when we see things, we report back and write to the necessary authority for actions to be taken. So these are the things that we have been doing, and we keep doing it. Like as I'm standing here now, my people, they are at Ejibo. They are at Ejibo, at least to visit for verification exercise and assessment too. And apart from that, they will still move around to educate people so that incidences of fire, incidents of flood can be prevented.
All right. Let me quickly ask this.
Okay, go ahead.
Those that have their shops, offices under the power line, what are the imminent dangers they could be, exposing themselves to?
If you stand under the power line, you are taking a very high risk. You get it? That was a day I was traveling. I was very new in service.
Okay.
So I was coming from there going to Ejibo. It's why even these heavy ones, the ones that we carry life from one town to the other. So I was just looking at something in front of me like snake. I thought it was a snake and was making very serious noise. And I said, this snake. And I ran back. It was far later that we now realized it was a wire that caught and was doing like snake on the street. You get it? Now imagine somebody that is just the one that is carrying electricity from one community to the other, that is behaving like that. Now look, can you now imagine the risk one is now taking because the land is cheap, like I told you, and you buy it and now build under high tension. There are some activities that we go on under high tension naturally. You get it? If there was this time, there was a day that somebody said it was because of the phone in his pocket, and the thing just got exploded and he died there. Along the Kino Road sometimes. You get it? So all this stuff, that is an individual. Now, and he was just passing by. Now imagine somebody that is now residing right underneath, or that is now staying there. We spend more time in the office. We spend more time in the office. We spend more time in the office than at home. Someone that go to the office 7 o'clock and we leave the office around 7 o'clock in the night. That's about 12 hours. So, and before you know it, in the morning you would have left for office 5:30, 6:30 sometimes. You get it? And you now go to where there is imminent danger. You are now standing under. There are policies, and I said, I don't know what is wrong with Nigerians generally. We like shifting blames on leaders. We like shifting blames on government. You see, government would have made policies that will save life. Government would have made policies that will improve our living, but we'll be flouting those policies. And if you see any government, we are in democratic era. If, for example, if Mr. Governor now decide that I want to demolish all the houses under power line, and I say, he has started to because we gave him a vote. Look at what he's doing to us. And that is not the thing. And that is what is that handicapped so many governments from taking actions. You get it? There are policies that say you should not build under high tension.
Exactly.
But people will flout it. There was a time they were accusing the former governor Irola that at Boni, and he asked them a question: was it the river that got there first, or you? They couldn't answer. You see, these are things that we can prevent by ourselves. We don't need to start shifting blames. Look at the way they use the Akoko, or what they call it, along Italoka. That was the time they were using that place for as dump site. They blocked the whole river until they started causing chaos. Look at what happened at Rasco area in the past. So these are things that we, as individuals, we should be conscious. When they make policies, they are making policies so that we can live fine as people. You get it? It is not that by flouting it or by saying I know people. Sometimes people will tell you I know people. You will see educated allies building under high tension wire And they know the implication anyway.
Okay. Let's talk about the political will on the part of the government to enforce the law.
Government is always ready to enforce the law.
Okay.
You get it? But there's a way they enforce it in a democratic setting, that it will not become harassment. You get it? Because before you know it, people turn a lot of things to another thing for you, especially when it is government. Like for example, what I told you the other day, that somebody was pouring refuse in the drainage, and I asked them to pack it. If I start making noise there and I start doing otherwise, because they refused, they are telling me that's how they've been doing it, until they now cited the vehicle that I brought. That was when they started packing. And as they were packing, they are now saying, Etibere, you have started. I now asked them, you have started what? So I needed to now educate them that, look, what I'm doing is for your own sake, so that your place will not be flooded during rainy season. So there is a way we do it, but you don't really need to come around and be shouting on them and be bringing law enforcement agents to come and harass them before we implement our policies. We do it with human face. You get it? We come to you, we educate you why this thing must not happen, why you must not engage yourself in such activity that will eventually result to disaster. You get it? So these are the things that we do. Unlike during the military era, that you just come and authorize you. Get that, you know.
People, discipline.
That is it. So, but now, Mr. Governor is very careful. One, like I told you, is passionate about the welfare of his people and their security. So what he does is, when he asks us to go and enforce policies, you do it with human face. Right. You educate them. Look, there's a policy on ground now, and we want to start implementing. This is the advantage of this policy. If you follow this path, this is what is going to happen. If you refuse to follow the path of this policy, these are the imminent dangers that are attached. So Mr. Governor wants you to please, because of your own safety, to follow this policy and make sure you adhere to them to letters.
Okay, in case of an emergency situation, what should affected people do? How will you educate them?
Yeah, we have been telling them, because like I said, some people don't even know that we are there. And I think it is time we let them know we are around.
Okay.
And that is why the sensitization thing that we've been doing all over the places. So what we want to do really is, we want people to know that we are already there. You get it? And when situations occur, or before they occur, call us. Call us. Maybe I should give them a number they should call.
Go ahead.
Yeah, that's my personal number anyway. 080-33-9721-63. That's my number.
Come again.
080-33-9721-63. That's the GM number. So let them call me so that we take prompt action. Okay. There's no problem.
Now, before they reach you, what should they do in case of some emergency situation, if it is fire or whatever?
Yes.
If it is fire, let them call fire brigade. And as they call fire brigade, they can also call me.
Okay.
So that if it warrants us coming in team, so we'll be there as a team. So that there are occasions that, like for example, when fire was burning, when this fire explosion at Ife, people were looting.
Wow.
They were looting. They took it as an advantage to loot. But if we have been there as a team, if when the things start occurring and they called us, we know people to call. The security agents will be there. All the security agents will be there. So there won't be room for looting. You get it? So what I just want to advise people is, as soon as you think this thing is going to result into serious disaster or disaster generally, please call that number I just told you now. So that when you call us, we now be able to come or ask people, relevant people, to come to your assistance.
Okay. Now our time is really fast, but before we go, if there is a fire in a home now, because most of the time people want to rush in and pick one or two things they feel is important. Now, what are the dangers in actually inhaling the smoke that comes from these burns? What are the dangers when there is a fire in the home? What steps, immediate steps, what are the things you can quickly say, okay, this is important, let me pick, or should you just go and don't even get to that at all?
This one of the advantages of social media sometimes.
Okay.
And it happened to us, not my immediate family, but from a family of us.
Okay.
when there is fire incident, you know there will be smoke.
Yes.
Many times you cannot stand upright when there is smoke. Smoke will always take a level, they rise the head. Yeah. So what you need to do is just to bend down, you squat or something.
All right.
Beneath it, so you'll be able to see very properly where you are going. So you'll now be able to pick one or two things that you want to pick. Okay. But my advice is, when there is fire, don't enter the fire. Don't say because you want to go and pick your certificate that can still be retrieved from your university. Don't say because you want to go and take some money that if you now lose your life because of that money, you won't be able to spend it again. So because that was the case at Okebale here. Okay. A house was burning, and somebody said because the house was burning, he went inside to take the money. He kept in his box. He was amputated at the end of the day.
Wow. Very
so
sad.
There are a lot of things that we really need to guard against. When you see that fire is about to occur, you get it, there are preventions you can take. Okay. Like for example, you know, I'm not saying this as a general manager anyway. Okay. I'm saying it as an individual.
All right.
You see, fire uses oxygen to breathe.
Okay.
Like woman. So if you now try to quench, I'm not talking about gas now.
Oh.
And I'm not talking about electricity. If it's electricity, you go straight to your meter and off it.
Okay.
You off your meter so that the electricity will be cut off from the electricity. Okay. If it is gas, you go and off your cylinder.
Immediately.
You off your cylinder immediately.
Okay.
So these are the two. But if it is near, probably somebody threw matches on the floor and something caught fire or something, you can use blanket to cover it.
Okay.
The fire
to service of energy.
Yeah. You just use blanket
oxygen.
Out there to prevent oxygen from...
To prevent the flow of oxygen, yes.
The flow of oxygen. You can use blanket to cover it. But you cannot use blanket to cover gas. You cannot use blanket to cover electricity. Okay. What you're going to do for electricity is you go to your meter and off the meter. If the meter is, if you cannot off it, remove the fuse so that it will not to break the circulation of electricity.
And I hope you are talking about wet blanket.
Wet blanket.
Thank you.
So you cover it with plain blanket. Yeah.
All right. Our time is fast spent. This is the components on the program. We have been engaging the GM OSEMA in Osun State on emergency management and response. Thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you so much, Mr. Babajide Falade.
That's a fine name.
Thank you so much. It's been an interesting discussion.
We also appreciate the SA who is also here accompanying him, Honorable Mrs. Krake. Okay. We also appreciate her. This is the component point on the program. Join us next Sunday for another edition. I am Adibari Ejimakide.
And I'm Oluchi Amuda. Very big thanks to the producer, Akinola Owolabi. Until next time, we say bye for now.